Doer Jeans is opening a store right here in Portland later this month, and if you haven't heard of them yet, let me tell you, they make stylish, comfortable clothes that are designed for a full day of living, from commuting to work to hanging out after. And you can try them out for yourselves now because CityCast Portland listeners get 15% off your first order. Just mention the code CCPDX for your in-store purchase, or you can go online at shopdoer.com/CCPDX. That's shop DUER.com/CCPDX for 15% off your first order. Portland Art Museum's new exhibit, Global Icons, Local Spotlight, contemporary art from the collections of Jordan D. Schnitzer, is running now through January 11th. You could see more than 65 works by celebrated artists of the 20th century, including Andy Warhol, Helen Frankenthaler, Ellsworth Kelly, and Robert Rauschenberg. This will all be on view through the opening of PAM's new expanded campus, which is happening on November 20th. Kids 17 and under are always free. Grab your tickets now at portlandartmuseum.org. Our region's wine country has grown and changed a lot over the years, but one thing that has stayed pretty consistent for me anyhow is the lack of food offerings available at wineries or even their surrounding areas. But I'm being told that's changing, and more high-caliber chefs from Portland and Napa Valley are opening up spots in the Willamette Valley. And since fall is one of the most magical times to go wine tasting because of the foliage changes and the harvest vibes, I just want to be better equipped in knowing where I'm finding a decent meal after my second glass. So today on CityCast Portland, we're talking with Brooke Jackson-Glidden, Portland Monthly's editor-in-chief. She's telling us about some of the most exciting chefs currently working in our region's wine country, and also which wineries are serving more than just cheese and crackers. Oh, and after the interview, Christine Waltz, the regional director of Window Nation, is joining me for a sponsored conversation about some pretty cool promotions they're running this month, especially if you're looking to replace some old windows. It's Thursday, October 16th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. So I'm incredibly excited for this incoming list because I just cannot wait to stop having to make myself snack trays or a sandwich every time I go out wine tasting. And no shade to bringing your own food. It's how I've survived. But sometimes, you just don't want to bother. Or like a few months back, you have people visiting, so you're already kind of frazzled and you assume a winery, not going to name it, that's always had at least a cheese board just stopped serving food. And so there you are with your sister and your cousin splitting an emergency carb protein bar during your tasting, which totally happened. And my sister is diabetic, so that was her protein bar. She should have not had to split it.
That sounds... I was about to be like, this is sounding a little personal. And then I realized it's like, this is a trauma sharing moment. I think you needed to voice it. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that I am here to help. Listen.
Thank you. So yeah, lay it on me. What chefs and restaurants, in your opinion, are killing it in Oregon wine country right now?
Totally. So, we worked on this thing for our fall issue. We spent so much time in wine country working on this thing. So I have eaten a ton of food in wine country around the Willamette Valley, but also Columbia River Gorge. So I think for now, I'll probably narrow it down to the Willamette Valley. One of my favorite places to eat food right now is in McMinnville. It's this food hall called Mac Market. You have a ton of different places that have started there and gone and done their own thing, but there's always some really talented, cool folks there, and it's not usually too fancy schmancy, right? So I've really enjoyed, on recent visits, there is a bakery there called Aaliyah. Now, these are two folks, Haley and Brendan Byer. They moved up from California wine country to work at Okta when it was still the big fancy tasting menu restaurant in the Tributary Hotel. Very different vibe there now. But Haley and Brendan, they came up to work there and then just started doing these pop-up dinners that were so fun, so cool, moved into Mac Market to do this bakery thing. And all of the pastries are super good, really fun. They did this hacksaw berry coffee cake that's super good there that I had last time I was there. You'll have everything bagels with smoked sesame seeds. It's a cool spot, and it's a really great place to start. before you go wine tasting.
So maybe grab the sandwich there, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's probably a good move. And last time I was there was a great pizza place there too. So if you're more like in that sort of scene, Honey Pie, I believe, is still there. That's a really fun spot too. So again, nice place to fuel up.
So that's like if you're like, hey, we're going to hit up some wineries in McMinnville. You're saying Mac Market, Aaliyah, check it out.
Check it out for sure. So if you're still in McMinnville, I would also say for like a really nice dinner after you go wine tasting, I really like the restaurants within the Ground Hospitality Group. So this is from the Foti family. Brenda Samoa Foti, they had these 2 farms, and she and Frank created this sort of hospitality group around these farms. So there are these multiple restaurants. There's an inn. But the main 2 restaurants that I really like are both in McMinnville, and there's one called Grounded Table and one called The Pub. They're both run by Sarah Schaefer, who, Portlanders might remember, had a restaurant called Irving Street Kitchen.
Oh, I loved Irving Street Kitchen. Is that the one in the Pearl?
In the Pearl, yes. So she was there. She also had a place called Cooperativa that was like an Italian market, really great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she moved out to wine country, or she's working out in wine country now. And the food at Grounded Table is really beautiful, sophisticated, elegant. Again, like tons of stuff from the farm. But it's also fun. They make these Oreos that are basically like, in the olden days, Oreos used to be made with lard, right?
Okay.
And then they switched to like a vegetable shortening or something. They make them with lard from these farms, and that makes them like really kind of almost buttery, crumbly, delicious. And they serve it with fresh milk, and it's like just like God tier milk and cookies. Mm-hmm. And so like, you can get like the fancy pastas and stuff like that, but you can also get like really good Oreos. Super fun. And if you're going for something way more casual, the Pub, right around the corner, it's more like smoked meats and like chicharron mac and cheese and stuff, and really, really tasty. Same deal. Same chef.
Oh my God. This is so good to know, because I do miss the Urban Street Kitchen. I do. Like, it was just like a fun place to go when you were downtown and you're like, I don't know, let's just go there. It's fun.
No, she always did this like really good fried chicken there. And they now do that as like a sandwich, like a fried chicken sandwich at the Pub. So like people who miss Irving Street Kitchen fried chicken can get a version of it there, which is fun.
That is cool. So where else are you going to take us?
Yeah. So, okay. Willamette Valley, not just McMinnville.
Very famously. Yeah.
Very famously, not just McMinnville. There is some really cool stuff happening in Carlton. So Hayward used to be based in Mac Market, right where Aaliyah is. Now it's in Carlton. It has its own space. This is a restaurant from this woman named Kari Shaughnessy, and this place is so fun. The flavors are really special. She has such a creative approach to food, came up from California and started as a pastry chef. So she does really good breads, and anything that involves like a flatbread or anything that involves a dough, pastas, really great from her. She makes this like koji focaccia that you can get there. Koji, for people who don't know, it's like a mold inoculated rice, actually. And it kind of gives, it sounds gross. It's really good. It tastes good. And it kind of adds like this salinity and almost like funkiness to the focaccia. It's just so good. I get it anytime I can.
That does sound pretty good. I also saw that she's still serving tonado, and I just got to say, there was a hot moment in Portland last year where everyone had some version of tonado, and then they stopped, and I miss it. And I'm like, you guys, sometimes things are just good, and we could keep it, but nobody wants to look like last year, or was it 2 years ago? We're like, we're done.
Tonado's
we're done with tonado.
Over.
Good. Okay, great. I can get it there.
Yeah, it's a really fun spot. She does really creative stuff. But again, like her plain old pickles are really, really tasty there. So lots of cool options. If you're willing to go to one more spot in the Willamette Valley.
And like completely different area too. Because if we're talking about Newburgh, because I'm looking at some of your spots here, Newburgh, just so you guys know, is on the other side of the Willamette River.
Totally. And, the Allison Inn, I think like people think fancy hotel, the restaurant's going to be kind of boring. Mm-hmm. The chef there is really cool. His name's Jack Strong. He is a select chef who has really specialized in native foods and indigenous foods. He used to be cooking in Arizona and helped write a cookbook about first foods and native foods. So you'll go and do like the fancy tasting menu thing, but he infuses it with this like deeper understanding of what we talk about when we talk about like local food, where we're also talking about like how tribal communities in this area use some of these ingredients and like what native food really means. I remember the last time I was there, I had like a squab with acorn and elephant garlic puree and huckleberry jus. And like huckleberry is obviously really important food to many tribal communities here in this part of the world, but it behaved almost like a demi-glace with duck. And it just like brought out the wildness of the flavors of the acorn and of the squab. It was like really smart, but also so delicious. So really like what he's doing there. I think he's kind of undersung for some reason. I really like that guy. I like what he's doing.
That's awesome. And in November, they're going to have Native American Heritage Month, like a whole celebration. And it looks like there's going to be food and all that. You can purchase tickets. It looks pretty cool. Okay. So what other spots are standing out to you right now? I mean, I know we've been to McMinnville, we've been to Carlton, Newburgh, anywhere else that you're like, you should check these eateries out.
Well, here's something I'll say, which is going to be kind of in direct conflict with the story you told at the beginning.
Okay.
There are some wineries that are making really good food in wine country.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that there aren't, but I'm saying that it's too far in between, Brooke. I'm just saying like these wineries are, the reason they're doing it is because they put such effort into it. Most wineries, it's already so hard to make the wine. I get it, you know, like that they're just like, here's some bread and cheese. Like, I don't know, man. I'm working the field here, you know?
100%.
So like, I totally get it. But so you're saying here are some places that like you can drink the wine there and you can eat the food there. This is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. So there are places in the same vein of like the ground where they use the property, the vineyard where they're growing grapes to grow other things. And then they're making food with some of that stuff.
Ooh.
If you go to Soder Vineyards, they call it Mineral Springs Ranch. It's just the ranch and farmland that's also on that property.
Mm-hmm.
So Clayton Allen's the chef there. He was at Clyde Common. A lot of former Portlanders are doing the wine country thing.
I loved Clyde Common. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And so you'll go for a wine tasting there, but you can go and have like lunch with the wine. And it'll be like these gorgeous salads with all the vegetables are from the farm, or, you know, they're using honey from the bees on the property and butter that is from the milk from the Highland cows that are there. Like you just have, again, like this real expansion of the idea of terroir, where it's like you're drinking wine with grapes that are grown there, but you're also eating food that is, again, sustained by the same land.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds a little like chefy pretentious, but it's really delicious. And the food isn't too tweezery. It's just like really tasty, you know, chicken dishes or pastas or salads, and like really great bread and butter.
Oh man, this looks good. And this is in Carlton. I also love that you said not too tweezery because I immediately knew what you were talking about. It was great. I just saw the micrograins just arranged just for me to be like, nah, my mouth.
100%.
This is cool. Where else are you like, hey, this winery makes really good food too?
Before I leave the Willamette Valley, I can't not mention Antica Terra. Now we're going south. So we're in Amity, and this is a really, really famous winery. Like Maggie Harrison, the winemaker there, got like a big New York Times Magazine profile, like big deal person. Their bottles of wine go for like hundreds of dollars and they'll sell out, and it's just crazy. So if you go and go tasting there, the chef there is a guy named Tim Westell, which Portland chefs have loved this guy for ages. He's just like kind of under the radar for people who are not chefs. And he used to like work for farms primarily.
Mm-hmm.
And he does the food pairings with the wine tasting at Antica Terra. He just won a James Beard Award. And I think it was a really fun thing for him to win because he was so under the radar for so long. And again, it's like, this is a tasting menu, but it's also like he'll do a crudité plate. So like just veggies. But it's like, it really shows off like, oh yeah, I have found the perfect radish or whatever. And it ends up being like the best version of that vegetable you've ever had. So again, it's like, this is a tasting menu, but it's not fussy. Like
Mhm.
I remember having a really fun like potato chip dish there. Like it's nothing too cerebral. It's just really tasty, simple stuff that is done so beautifully. So I really like to do that full blown tasting there. It's pricey, but I think it's worth it.
This is the kind of thing that you have to reserve ahead of time, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So these are like, again, these wineries. The reason I don't tend to go to these places is because you really do have to plan stuff way ahead. And you're like, okay, this is where I go. This is my tasting menu. Or like, even like dinners, sometimes they're just booked out because, again, there's so little wineries making food. So they're just, yeah. Well, what's another place? I see here that you have one in Hood River.
Yeah. So okay, let's wave goodbye to the Willamette Valley for a second and head over to Hayu Wine Farm. So I think like natural wine has like a weird connotation to it. But like if you do like that kind of thing, really kind of avant-garde stuff, super, super like I kind of almost describe it as like crunchy, like granola wine.
Oh, I thought you meant texture first. And I was like, I've never had crunchy natural wine. Can I ruin natural wine for everyone? My partner has said, I don't like drinking kombucha as wine, and now I can't get it out of my head whenever I have natural wine. I'm just like, God damn you. And that is all.
I will say like there is kombucha-y. Like I will say
Yeah.
like it has a kombucha quality to it, which, again, I think this is again a really celebrated winery. This is like big deal. People travel from outside of the country to go drink wine at this place, Hayu Wine Farm. But again, the chef is a guy named Jason Barakowski who was around Portland for ages. He was at Olympia Provisions before it was Olympia Provisions. He was at Ripe, if anyone remembers that place. That's like the old Naomi Pomeroy spot. But he cooked around Portland for a long time, and then he was like, I need to go stand in a field. So he went out to go do Hayu Wine Farm. Again, similar deal. Sourcing a bunch of stuff from the farm. Really beautiful food. It'll be, a pavlova with meadow foam or whatever. It's this kind of, again, a little, I would call it like a step above it's not hyper simple, but it's really creative and really interesting. And it plays really well with the wine. So if you're into sort of, again, like, I want to walk around a field and like, oh, look, there's a chicken. And I'm sitting and I'm listening to vinyl in a cool sort of space and the wine is good. Like it's kind of that scene. So I really like Hayu Wine Farm. I went there for my birthday like maybe 2 years ago and it was a really special experience.
Yeah, yeah. This is the kind of place, you guys, where it's like 150 per person for lunch. It's like a 5-course lunch. I don't think it's not a chill, like, can I have a sandwich? Or, can I have a crudité plate? It's like it's a sitting. But it looks like a place that like, yeah, I want to spend my birthday here because these pictures are beautiful.
Claudia, I wonder, based on your lived experience, do you want some like more casual stuff? Because I can give you some really great spots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, something a little bit more casual.
You got it.
As Brooke is picking it up. Freem Family Brewers has opened up a second location in Milwaukee just south of Portland, so you no longer have to make the trek all the way to Hood River just to get to their 20-plus taps of award-winning beer. They've moved into the historic Milwaukee City Hall building right into the old firehouse, and I hear they turned the old fire pole into a fully functioning tap. I would like to see that. Plus, this new location has 3 bars with seasonal cocktails, in addition to all the harder to find Freem beers. My go-to is the Japanese lager, and they're serving practically the same menu as their Hood River location, so you know their food is solid. I recommend anything on the menu that has their house-made beer cheese. It's so delicious. Freem Milwaukee is open daily from 11:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. You can see their full menu at freembeer.com. That's PFRIEM beer.com.
Hi, I'm Michael Ziviak, Chief Revenue Officer of CityCast. Why do most of us want to learn a new language? It's because we want to speak it out in the real world with real people. Babbel gets you there fast. My daughter's a senior in high school, and after she graduates, we're taking a father-daughter trip to Spain. I know, she's spoiled, but that's on me. I'll be honest, my Spanish right now is pretty much tops out at Donde está la biblioteca? But when we get there, I want to actually talk to people, order food, and really connect with the locals, not just stumble through the basics. That's why I'm starting with Babbel. Learning a language with Babbel is all about small steps, big wins, and progress you can actually track and feel. And with how busy things get here at CityCast, I love that Babbel's bite-sized, 10-minute lessons fit perfectly into my day, whether it's between meetings or while I'm having coffee in the morning. I'm really excited to start picking up real-world Spanish before our trip so we can experience Spain in a more meaningful way. Right now, Babbel has a special deal for our listeners. Get up to 55% off your subscription at babbel.com/citycast. That's BABBEL.com/citycast for up to 55% off. Rules and restrictions may apply. Gracias and adios.
So, okay, what are some casual wine country options for people who don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on lunch?
Which is like so fair. You're already spending money on wine. I do not blame you. If you're like, don't make me sit through a tasting menu, I do not blame you. So there are a few spots that like I would go to, right? If I'm like, I'm just going to go to wine country kind of casually. There is a really good taco cart called Dos Mundos. I think that's in Newburgh. It's like right off 99. It is so good. I have been a big fan of theirs for a while. They make one of my favorite fish tacos, and you can just pop in there on your way back or on your way down, grab a couple tacos. And again, it's like these are really beautiful salsas, really like thoughtfully prepared and like really delicious, like depth of flavor in all of the meats that are in these tacos. So if I'm like, I just want to like grab some tacos before I hit wine country, it's a great spot for that.
Ooh, and I have to shout out that the style of fish taco that they're doing is Baja. So I'm already in because that's my favorite style of fish taco. So that is going to be in Newburgh, which, by the way, amazing wine out in Newburgh. And that's where you were like, hey, check out the Allison Inn. But if you don't want to do that, Dos Mundos. And you're saying it's a taco cart, like a truck.
Yeah.
Well, where else is more chill? More chill in my wallet.
A little bit more chill.
Yeah.
Another
than a taco truck, by the way.
Yeah, listen, in that sort of chill space, sometimes I'll like do an overnight in McMinnville. I used to work at Linfield, and it would be really fun to go, I'm just going to spend the night in McMinnville. And then I would wake up in the morning and I would go to Alchemist Jam, which it's a jam shop. So you can get like just like really good Marionberry, but you can also get these like sort of, it's vanilla, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's like fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Like cardamom, something, something.
Yeah, fancy jams. Yeah.
Fancy jams. But they also have like a bakery counter.
Ooh.
And you can get such tasty pastries there and like really good bread. You'll always like see winemakers there. Like there are a lot of winemakers that will like start their day there. So I think that's like a testament to kind of how much like local buy-in there is for that place. It's so good.
Right. And I'm seeing the next on your list, and I gotta like high five you on this. This is one of my favorite places. No Close Radio.
No Close Radio.
In Forest Grove. But first off, would it be open now? Because I always thought they were like Memorial Day to Labor Day, or, however that works. Labor Day to...
Yeah.
I forget which one comes first. It's from there to there.
Yes, totally. So, yes, it is only in that sort of summer season. You can go Memorial Day to Labor Day. But I had to mention it because I really love it. I think it's so fun. And all of the wineries there are like some of my favorites. So you have Maloof there, which is like such a like Bon Appetit, like New York wine bar kind of label, but the wine's really good. You have Maloof, you have Fossil and Fawn, and you have Monument. And Monument, they have a bottle of wine they do every year called Jenny that like the second it's out, I am like grabbing bottles of it. So you have a lot of cool wineries there. But instead of doing like the tasting room thing, it's more like a cafe. So you can go. And it's like, again, it's not so casual that it's like a sandwich, but it's like maybe a step above that. And they'll do like, you can get a bunch of different like charcuterie or like build a little board. But they also will do like a really delicious steak with like a strawberry salad or something. And you can get really good, just simple, delicious salads there. They always have like a cool special. And it feels like very like French. Like it feels in that kind of like French countryside sort of scene. Really tasty, unpretentious. They have like little, I call them like granny patio tables on their porch, and you can like eat there, have like this really pretty
You can
view,
bring your dog. Yeah, it's really chill.
really, really chill, drink like a glass of wine, half glass of wine from them. And something they do that I really love there, they say they have like a slice of wedding cake. I mean, it's just like a fancy like layer cake. And I love cake, and I feel like not enough places make cake. So I love to get cake there.
Oh, 100%. I love that you call that out. We always get the cake slice, no matter what it is. We once didn't do it, and we talked about it for weeks. We're just like, we're fucking idiots. We should have
Should have got the cake. Gotta get the cake.
They make one of like, and of course, their menu's always changing, but they made a sandwich once that I still think about. Like, that's how good that sandwich was. And it was so simple. And I brought it to the rest of my wine tasting for the day. It was so big that I like basically ate it every other place we stopped. And I was like, I'm just going to eat a little bit of my sandwich here.
Let me have a little bit of sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that I got you, I know we're talking about Willamette Valley, but you and I both do tend to cross the river occasionally. And we hit up, White Salmon, that area. And I'm curious where you eat in White Salmon, which, by the way, if you're listening and you've not been to White Salmon, you're sleeping on a very adorable community. Because I got a couple places that I go, but I'm like, where do you go?
Yeah, I will say I love White Salmon. Like, I love White Salmon year round. It's a really cool place to taste wine, and it's a good like launch pad to other places to taste in that area. But it's also just like adorable. Like, if you are going into Gifford Pinchot to camp or like do snow stuff, you can like on your way back through the gorge, stop in White Salmon, have lunch, and it's like so sweet. It's such a cool town. So I have like two spots that immediately come to mind. And we've been talking a lot about sandwiches, so I do feel compelled to mention White Salmon Baking.
Mm-hmm.
That place, it will be packed on a weekend. So be prepared for that. But like the best bakery in the Columbia River Gorge.
Ooh.
It is so good. It is like all the pastries are, again, like the laminated pastries are beautiful. They're all really creative and cool. They do like really good monkey bread.
Ooh, I love monkey bread.
I love monkey bread. So you have like a ton of really cool options there in terms of pastries, but their bread is also really good. And you will like find White Salmon Baking Company bread at like restaurants in Hood River and other places. So like you'll often see it referenced elsewhere because the bread is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And they will make sandwiches. They have like a menu of sandwiches on that bread. And they're just always, they're tasty. They're huge. Again, this is like a really good, like, I'm going to stick this in like a tote bag and like continue to snack on it.
Mm-hmm.
They have some version of like an Italian cold cuts where it's like a lot of different types of salami. I usually get that one. I really like it.
But just a warning, they do close around 3 most days.
Yeah.
So it's a go early. And it's one of the reasons I've not hit it up yet is I've not been smart enough to go there first. I usually, because I go to Coyote Wall, I go to, do all these places. I go to Loop-de-Loop. And then afterwards, I'm like, I'm hungry. And they're closed. So I usually end up at Feast Market and Deli because they have sandwiches.
I love every deli. I want to make clear. I am a deli. I am a deli lover. But I would say sometimes if you want, like, I want to sit down. Like I've been around. I want to sit down. I want to have like some snacks and like a glass of wine or something. I really like this place called Soka. It's a wine bar. And again, really cool selection of wines there. Local stuff, but also a lot of like international stuff, like European stuff, which I think sometimes, you'll be tasting and you get a little fatigued on like the same styles of wine.
Yeah.
And it's nice to sometimes kind of go, I just want like a really good, like, Chablis or something, like I want a wine that
not a Pinot Noir. Yeah, like sometimes you're like,
not a Pinot Noir.
Not a Pinot. It'd be nice sometimes not to drink a Pinot Noir. That Pinot Noir fatigue hits like third winery.
Totally.
So I hear you.
100%. So I would say, so Soka, again, really great wine list, but they also have these like really super seasonal snacks, and it changes depending on when you're there. And I will admit, the last time I was there, it was the summer. But, I remember eating this really tasty melon salad that it was like burrata, and they like crisped up prosciutto, which I think people get really scared about cooking prosciutto, which I understand, but I still like it. So I think it like adds a little bit of like saltiness, and I think melon and prosciutto is like such a classic combination. So like really like that. And you've got a baguette so you can like kind of swipe in the cheese. Something that they do pretty consistently is they have like a smoked trout dip and they serve it with ruffles. And like, I'm a whitefish girl. I like, I like a fish dip. That sounds gross, but I like a fish dip. So I think it's like, again, the smokiness is just right. And just dipping ruffles in a dip and drinking a nice glass of wine, I think is like,
Oh my God.
so good. And it's like, yeah, you can kind of small plate it. And again, really good wine list there.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. I do want to shout out that you can get a baguette instead of ruffles. Brooke just chooses to get ruffles.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
But also, I need to also shout out that any winery or any place that is like serving wine that has chips and dip of any sort, immediately goated.
Agreed.
In my perception of them, I'm just like, you're doing it right. Same thing if they have cake. I'm like, thank you. There's just something about chips and wine that makes so much sense that I think a lot of people gloss over. And I just wanted to say that out loud, Brooke. That's all.
I think that you were right to say it. And now I want chips and dip and a glass of wine. So maybe we have to head to a living room or something. Get my chips and dip and wine.
I love living rooms, chips and dip and wine. Brooke and I both live in St. John's, and that is our local wine bar, one of. But yeah, well, this was really lovely. Thank you so much. I feel armed with knowledge.
Good.
And I don't foresee myself eating a dusty protein bar with enough planning. And so thank you. This is good. I hope this also helps other people out there who have had to wrestle snacks from their diabetic sister's hand so they could finish their taste.
And I think that like that was a survival instinct on your part. So I think
it really was. And I have to tell you, she did offer, because I was driving and she was like, do I go into a coma? Do we crash into a ravine? And she chose, I thought, appropriately.
I think that was a very beautiful moment. Again, like family solidarity. I think, yeah, here to help, here to arm folks with knowledge. And again, like whether you're trying to do like the big fancy tasting menu thing or just like a sandwich, I feel like you got some really strong options, both in the Willamette Valley and in the Gorge.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks again, Brooke.
Thank you so much.
Before we head out, if you're in the market for some new house windows, we've got a sponsored segment coming up where I chat with Christine Walls, the regional director of Window Nation, about some pretty cool promotions they're running this month. So sit tight. So, Christine, a lot of Portlanders care deeply about sustainability. How big of a difference, like actual difference, does changing out your windows make? Because I have anecdotal evidence, but I don't actually have like, this is the actual percentage or whatever.
Well, older windows will make your HVAC system work harder and to keep your house cool or to keep your house warm. So when you replace your windows, it ensures that your heating and your cooling systems work normally. And that will help reduce your costs, sometimes as much as 30%. With Portland's mix of rainy winters and the warm summers, that makes energy efficient windows one of the most impactful things that you can do to help regulate your indoor comfort year-round. Beyond the savings, it's really about reducing your home's carbon footprint as well, something that really resonates if you're eco-conscious like myself.
Yeah, I recently got all of my windows, like all of the old ones, switched out. And I immediately noticed it because I was like cranking my AC last year, like 67 just to feel cool. And now I'm like at 74. It's insane. It was just like such a visible, because I could see it like in the thermometer or whatever, but like also just like, wow, that was crazy. Like 5 windows would do that.
It's incredible how noticeable it is.
Yeah. Well, I know you also offer Milgard windows, which is actually the windows I used, which is a trusted brand around here. What makes that option stand out for Portland homeowners?
They're a local brand. They're somebody who knows what the Northwest needs in order to, be comfortable in our homes and deal with our unique climate. In fact, they're all manufactured here in the Pacific Northwest. I live probably 20 minutes from one of their manufacturing plants. I've been through it myself, and seeing how everybody takes the pride in their manufacturing and the process so that they can provide a trusted brand. It's incredible to be part of that. And knowing that it's really going to hold up in Oregon's wet weather and temperature swings, I'm not surprised to hear that you immediately notice the difference.
Yeah, I had no idea that Milgard was like that local, honestly. I didn't know we actually had a facility here that's making the windows.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite parts. Here at Window Nation, we partner with many major manufacturers, but when we come into a community, we look for ones that are local, that understand the unique needs of the communities that we're going to be serving. So we're really proud to partner with Milgard.
Well, I just heard that Window Nation has also teamed up with the Portland Thorns and even local Little League teams, which is adorable. So how is that part of your business plan? Why is that an important part of what you do?
Yeah, we really believe in investing in our communities. As a mom here of Little Leaguers, I like being part of the connection that you receive and learning about the families and helping sponsor what brings people together. So really, the Portland Thorns for us was kind of an extension of that. Their strength, their teamwork, that local pride, that really aligns with how we serve our customers. So for us, it's not really just about selling windows, but it's really about becoming part of the community there in Portland.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I have 9-year-old twin boys.
Oh, really?
My days are very busy with sports.
Is it just baseball that they're doing?
No, they do soccer and swim. They also ski.
Okay.
I was going to say. So my 9-year-old boys also are part of the ski team in the winter. So we spend a lot of time up in the mountains around here in the Northwest. In fact, I grew up here, so I'm excited to start getting them introduced to various mountains, specifically over in Oregon.
That is so cool. Yeah, well, I hear there's even a perk for getting outdoors at places like Mount Bachelor. Can you tell us about this, what the Icon Pass promotion is about? By the way, I just want you to know that whenever I'm looking to buy stuff, I always look for these promotions because it always happens around the winter when they're just oh, if you buy a Subaru, or if you get this, I'm always looking around. So I love that you guys are doing this. How can a customer take advantage of this Icon Pass promotion?
Yes, I'm super excited to be partnering and be able to offer 2 passes for a whole home of windows. So when you're making a purchase of a house of windows with Window Nation during the winter, you're going to receive 2 passes for a 2-day session at any of the Icon resorts. I think there's somewhere around 44 of them that are going to be included, which includes Mount Bachelor. So I like to think of that as a way to thank our customers and encourage them to enjoy the beautiful outdoors that the Pacific Northwest has to offer. And maybe I'll see them on the hill.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome. Would you be wearing a comically large window outfit, or in the back of your suit, would it just say Window Nation?
Maybe it'll be my beanie when I'm in the lodge.
Okay. I mean, I guess that would work too. Well, Christine, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you need some new windows, check out windownation.com to learn more. We'll have that link for you in our show notes as well. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks again, Christine.
Thank you so much, Claudia.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this show, share it with a friend or rate and leave us a good review. It really helps us out. And don't forget, you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast neighbor. Just visit membership.citycast.fm for all the details. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you with Slims.